What's up guys? In today's video, you're going to be learning about the uncertainty of poker and how it's the root of so many of your problems. Now if you're new to the channel, make sure you smash the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos on how to optimize your mindset, performance and lifestyle so you can crush at the poker tables. With that being said, let's dive into today's video. So we're going to be digging deep into uncertainty and how it leads to so many of your problems as a poker player. So poker is very unique, all right, and it tricks the brain in many, many ways and causes lots of situations that cause emotional flare-ups. And when we dig deep into them, a lot of them come from us not being able to handle uncertainty, all right? So today we're going to go through a little journey where I'm going to teach you where uncertainty comes from, what's the root cause of it, how the brain does 3 things to try and counter uncertainty, which magnifies the problem for poker players and makes this kind of cocktail that makes it even worse. And then we're going to talk about some solutions and how we can actually deal with uncertainty better going forward so you guys can actually be back behind the steering wheel at the poker tables without getting driven around by your emotions. Sound good? All right, let's dive in. So uncertainty, where does it come from? What is it? Why are we talking about this today? So as a poker player, uncertainty comes in many different formats. And it's basically just not knowing what the outcome is going to be, not knowing what's going to come next. So the uncertainty of what's next. Okay, so in poker, there's so much uncertainty. Are you beating the games right now? Are you going to be able to continue to beat the games? Are you making mistakes, or are you just getting unlucky? Are you progressing faster than people around you, or are other people progressing faster than you? So there's so much uncertainty around where our career is going over the long term, and there's uncertainty day to day. Am I playing good or running good? Am I making mistakes, or is it variance? Like, there's uncertainty is molded into poker. Just every single avenue you look at, there's just so much uncertainty. And by that I mean we don't know the answer. We don't know what is true. We don't know if you are playing good or if you are getting lucky. So as a result, the mind goes a little bit wild. All right. So as a poker player, you're constantly feeling the emotional side effects of uncertainty. So when the brain is uncertain, it hates it. All right. The mind hates uncertainty. So there's 3 things. It's trying to create 3 things in order to make it have certainty. All right, so when in uncertain times, like the poker world in general, it's going to do 3 things to try and create some certainty. The first one, it's going to try to estimate the duration. All right, the duration of time it's going to take you to get from A to B. The duration of time this emotion is going to last. It's trying to figure out how long this situation is going to last. All right. So let's say you're trying to move up stakes. You're trying to beat the stakes above you. Your mind's quickly going to go, well, how long will that take? How much time and energy am I going to put into it? And when am I going to arrive at my finish line? It's trying to figure out the duration. Now in poker, we often don't know. The duration's taken away. I'm going to go through these 3 as we go, but in certain times, the duration of time it takes is an unknown variable. The next thing it tries to do, once it's trying to figure out the duration, is tries to figure out the path. What is the route A to B? How do I get to my goals? This is a big one. A lot of poker players cling on to this one. So the next one's the path. How do I get to my goals? All right, how do I get to financial freedom? How do I get to play high stakes? What is the path? All right, and in most things, this is quite easy, right? And even duration is quite easy in most things in life. So think about like you want to get a certain job. Say you want to be a doctor. The path's pretty straightforward. It's like, okay, you go to school, you get these grades, go to university, pass this exam, get this qualification, apply for this job, get the job, boom, done. Path is simple. So the mind's like, okay, I know the path. In poker, it's like you want to play high stakes poker. What is the path? Study, grind. How long's the path going to last? I don't know. Could be 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, never. How do I get there? I don't know. There's so much uncertainty around the pursuit. All right, so this is like fuel on this cocktail. The mind's like, give me something to hold on to. The final thing it wants, when it's trying to get duration, path, is the outcome. What is the outcome? All right. So again, in everyday life, the outcome is pretty clear. You apply for it, you're trying to be a doctor. The outcome is, I got the job. You're trying, in poker, the outcome is to have success, but it's so blurred. It's like, you can't control the outcomes. You could be getting unlucky, you could be getting lucky. Like there's so much like uncertainty around the outcomes that are coming out. Also, let's say I'm a student and at school I work really, really hard and I ace the exam. All right, so I've worked really hard and I've aced the exam. Very good chance that grade coming back is going to be good. But what if they give me an F? I know I did good, I know I aced the exam, but the outcome was an F. I'd be like, what? That can't be right. But this happens in poker all the time. You study hard, you grind like crazy, you put everything in, you put good focus in. In the short term, the outcome, you lose a lot of money. You got a downswing. And you're like, what the hell? Why is the outcome uncertain? I did X, I did Y, why did I not get the Z at the result? So all through our lives, we've been conditioned to grab onto certainty. We're used to know duration, we're used to know the path, and we're used to know the outcome. Often, if we don't know these things, we don't go down that avenue. All right, so let's say, for example, you wanted to start a business, and you've got an idea to start a business. If you wanted to actually pursue that, you'd probably try and go, okay, how long will it take? What's the route from A to B? And what's the outcome I'm expecting? Most people can't figure these things out. There's too many unknown variables, and as a result, they don't get started. All right, so when we don't have certainty, often the mind just goes, oh, too complex, I can't get going. Now, as a poker player, you're on the journey already. You've already took off, and you're pursuing a certain outcome, whether it's financial freedom, whether it's playing high stakes, whether it's just having a comfortable lifestyle through poker, whether it's playing in some big games live, or whatever goals you guys have got for your poker careers. So you've got an outcome, but the path and the duration are completely unknown. All right, so the brain's not gonna like this one little bit. So the brain's like, well, how long is it gonna take, and what do I need to do? What do I need to do? So you got a predicament, right? And this feeling is gonna keep stemming up with this, how do I fix this? How do I do better? How do I solve this problem? And it's gonna come on a daily basis when the results don't go your way, and it's gonna come up on a more long-term basis when your poker career isn't going down the route that you want it to. All right, so we've gotta just draw a big kind of magnifying glass on this with poker. I feel like this is not talked about enough. There is uncertainty in poker, a lot of it. And you can do one or two things. You can go, all right, I don't like uncertainty. I like to know what to expect. If you do, walk away from the poker arena and go and find something that has more certainty. Or option B is, I need to learn to deal with uncertainty. I need to learn to function and perform well when uncertainty is guaranteed. Uncertainty in poker is guaranteed, all right? Variance is 100% real and 100% guaranteed. So you're gonna have to deal with it. So how do you do that? You haven't learned to deal with variance and uncertainty in real life, so how do you learn to deal with it in poker? All right, the way you do this is, you've got to learn to accept outcomes, all right? You've got to learn to accept what comes out. Okay, so let's say you play a poker session and you have a losing session. You can go, that was variance, or I didn't play well. It was variance, I didn't play well. There's always a combination of skill and luck. And you can drive yourself crazy going, well, did I get unlucky or did I play badly? And I've worked with lots of players with this problem. Was it my fault or was it variance's fault? At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that much. Then what happened is you lost money. Can you deal with that? The mind's going to try and come up with a reason. Well, was it this or was it that? We're not going to actually know. There's that no. You can look through your hand histories, you can look through your databases, you can run it by friends, but at the end of the day, you're not going to 100% know which variables were in play. So you've got to get used to, I don't know, I just lost. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with the unknown outcomes? You've got to, instead of, which we're used to in life, we're used to using the outcome to dictate, like did I do well? Did I put enough effort in? The outcome normally is the guiding star. So for example, if I get an A in a maths test, there's a good example, it's a good indication that I'm learning well and I'm very knowledgeable. Outcome in poker, if you lose for a session, that's not a good indication that you're doing badly. If you're winning, it's also not a good indication that you're a super good player. So we've got, the outcome isn't very good. So we've got to accept the outcome and remove it from our kind of system of acknowledging what we're doing. And we've got to get obsessed with our performance. All right? It's the whole like being process driven over outcomes, but more than that, you've really got to get used to doing your best and your best being good enough. By that I mean, if you lose, own it. If you win, own it. Whatever comes out of the outcome equation, which is, as we know, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of variance, a lot of everything, there's so much in there, you've got to accept it. You can't clash with it. You can't keep clashing with the outcomes. But I shouldn't be losing. How did I make a mistake? Why am I not getting better? Why are other players winning and I'm not? This is all just noise. It's all nonsense. You've really got to get used to, did I perform well? So every time you look at the outcome, which didn't go the way you wanted to, literally zoom back and go, how well did I perform? So let's look on like a big scale. Let's say your poker career or your poker results over a larger sample size. If the outcome isn't what you're wanting, you can just look back and go, okay, how well am I performing? How's my focus? How's my decision making? How am I showing up on a daily basis? And what can I improve there? All right, and really, really obsess on how I perform day to day. Then we zoom in on a day, like one day of grinding. And let's say you just made a big mistake, cost you a full stack, and you're really, really annoyed at yourself. So the outcome is you've lost. You're also moving away from your goals in your own head. Rather than judging yourself and going, okay, I shouldn't have done that, like a lot of players will beat themselves up for making a mistake, why don't you start to just go, okay, I made a mistake, own it, I accept that I made a mistake, how can I do better in future? And often with mistakes, it's like, I didn't ask myself the right questions. I wasn't focusing enough. I was distracted. I overthought it. I second-guessed myself and leveled myself and went for the wrong decision. Okay, cool, that's what happens. Next time, can you do something different to change the outcome? And we've got to start detaching ourselves from this, all right? So as a poker player, you've got to learn to just get comfortable with uncertainty, comfortable with outcomes not going your way, comfortable with not knowing, am I playing well or am I not? Comfortable with not knowing, am I going to beat the games today, tomorrow, next year? You've just got to get so used to, I don't know. All you know is, I'm going to do my best, and I back that my best over the long term is going to be good enough. Are you willing to play that game? Are you willing to play the game of poker knowing your best is all you can do and your best might not be good enough? Are you willing to come along for the ride with that mindset? Or are you going to go, I'll do my best, but only if the outcomes are coming good? This is what a lot of players do. They say, yeah, of course, I'm just going to do my best and I think that's going to be good enough. But when the outcomes come bad and they start losing, they then start going, the uncertainty starts to breed insecurities, self-doubt. Am I doing good enough? Am I winning? Remember the game. Do your best, and over time, back yourself to be good enough. And that's the thing. Once you do that, you put yourself back in control. So any time spent on outcomes and thinking about outcomes in poker is time wasted because you don't control that variable. Always go, how can I perform better? And if you want to use uncertainty in a positive way, every time you feel like things aren't going your way, like say results aren't going your way, and that leads you to lack confidence and feel self-doubt, just ask yourself, how can I improve? How can I do better? Turn that feeling of self-doubt into a big study session. Turn that feeling of insecurity into something. So 2 ways with uncertainty. One is taking away from the outcomes and to performance. And the second avenue is when you feel a heightened negative emotion caused by uncertainty, channel that towards getting better. All right, it's really, really, really key. I see all successful players do one of the two. They either accept the outcomes or they use the negative emotion to work harder, study harder, play harder. All right, so you've got to be really, really understanding this principle because this is one of the biggest trip-ups in poker. It's probably the root of a lot of things. Now, the uncertainty then brings out a lot of your insecurities, a lot of your fears, a lot of your kind of belief systems that are holding you back. So the uncertainty almost like it's a mixing pot that brings out all like your negative traits. Because when the brain has uncertainty, all the fears, what happens if I'm not good enough? What happens if I can't do this? Come to the surface. So you've got to use poker as your kind of personal growth path. You've got anyone playing poker, I say I highly, highly recommend you start thinking of poker as a personal growth path. All right. Yes, you want to achieve success with money. Yes, you want to achieve success by playing higher games. Yes, you want to get good at learning and growing and improving. Awesome. You're probably very competitive and you want to outperform people and outthink them. Awesome. Amazing, amazing. But more than anything, treat it as this is my kind of journey to become a better version of myself. If you can become a better version of yourself through poker, you won, all right? You won. And the thing is, poker's gonna test you. If you don't become a better version of yourself, poker will beat the living hell out of you into submission and you'll go away in uncertainty and all the negative emotions that come with that will leave you feeling like a victim. On the flip side, if you use all the challenges poker throws your way as a way to zone in your performance, remove yourself from outcomes, overcome your fears of the unknowns, and just learn to do your best and be good enough with that, boom, you're on a path to amazing self-growth and also just an amazing life as a whole. So hopefully this has given you guys some kind of overview of what uncertainty looks like and how you can start to fight back against it. And I really want you guys to start thinking, how am I currently dealing with uncertainty? Am I beating myself up? Am I getting self-doubt? And how can I start to use it more effectively? How can I start to let go of outcomes and zone into performance? And the negative emotions I do have, how can I channel them into a positive direction? Alright guys, that being said, I'll conclude this video. Make sure you smash the subscribe button and the like button before you go. For bonus points, click that little bell so that you get notifications of my future videos. I'm going to be doing a video at least once a week, often twice a week. In the comments, let me know if you have any recommendations. There's going to be plenty more coming from me very soon.